So the floor is any one of the two of you, you decide. So what we'll just check in is last week we went on to a number of things on how to find a property online, the different indicators, and. Did you get a chance to play around online? Did you get a chance to go and view any sort of properties? What has your progress been this week?
Hi, can I go first?
Go for it.
Okay. Um, I have used, private property to look for the oldest and the cheapest properties that are on sale.
Okay.
And I found two in my area. So I'm going to be viewing one on Saturday.
Wonderful,
This
wonderful.
Um, the properties they need a lot of work. But I've got Marcia's book, so I'm gonna be using that
Okay.
as an indicator on what to look out for and the things I need to check out. So I've been going through the book since yesterday, so I'll see how it goes on Saturday.
Lovely stuff. That is awesome to hear. That is absolutely awesome to hear. And it will be nice to feedback. So when you're there and you get a chance to take some pictures in that, make everybody jealous in the group and post it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for sharing. What else would you like to share this evening, or is it just that it?
No, that's just it.
Okay. Lebo?
Okay, on my side, time management. So got sucked into a family funeral, came back, got sick, haven't looked at anything. So I just tried to schedule it this week.
Yeah, this is part of life, eh? These things happen when we least expect it.
Yeah, but it's just the feedback for me. I must just schedule it because I see there's a lot of emergencies and, that are coming. So, yeah, it's just getting back and actually scheduling that time for myself to actually look at the things.
Wonderful stuff. That is awesome news to hear. Well, you know what? This is just the beginning, and I've got confidence that you guys will see things differently as, the weeks go by. You'll get that opportunity to sit down and do what you need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool stuff. So this evening, we're going to go through numbers. Numbers is by far one of, I can't say it's the most important, but it is very, very important. It is where some people struggle the most and things in that level. I just want to, why is this playing up with me? I just wanted to go into, cool. You guys can still see me? Lebo?
Yep.
Simple. Okay, cool. No, it's just I did something silly right now, and I just got, you cannot minimize while you are in recording mode. So my heart just kind of stopped there for a second. Okay.
No, you're still there.
Okay, cool. So just before we do go into tonight's program, what I would like to do very, very quickly is just to go through the schedule for this coming weeks. Just, I know that it's a lot to absorb, so just in case it may not have been clear on the day of training or whatever the case is, or also the day of training has been some time ago, so one can forget these things very, very easily. Okay, so let's see, did this play nicely with me? Okay, yeah, there we go. This PowerPoint has played very nicely with me because I thought I would just insert two things over and above the pictures that I've got for tonight's conversation. If you guys just can give me 30 seconds, my laptop at the funniest of times will freeze on me. Coolio. Okay, that's better. Jeez, man. Sometimes I ask myself, what resistance is this? Okay. Let's say share screen. Perfecto. There we go. There's that. Nope, not that yet. Cool. So just to refresh you guys' memory, the 8-week program, the first 4 weeks, which was last week, today, and the next 2 weeks, we're going to meet at 7:30 here online on Wednesday. So last week, we went through navigation online, finding opportunities. Today, we're going to go through running the numbers. When we're done running the numbers, I'll send you guys the calculator. Or if you could tell me if you can access the calculator that's been sent on the group before, then I don't have to send it again. Next week, we will then talk about the importance of networking, different things that we can start negotiating on that you can already start looking out for when you're looking at property. And then on week 4, we'll just go through the nitty-gritties of the OTP and some things to take notice of. We'll mainly focus on the suspensive clauses and how you could use it as an investor. So this is the first 4 weeks. And if you noticed, every time we come up to a coaching, I will remind you the day before, I'll remind you the morning of, I'll remind you sometime in the afternoon, because again, I understand that life happens and sometimes we just get taken up with what is happening. On week 4, then I'm going to ask you guys, what is it that has been a trend or you've picked up so far and that you would like Bruno to have a discussion on? Because Bruno is my guest speaker that I choose to come through to for him to talk to the students on week 8. Because on week 8, we meet back at the Sunninghill campus face to face. However, we meet back there on a Friday. So I'm going to, let's just double check the date. So I'm just going to ask you guys this evening, 1, 2, 3, let's see here. Which date will it be? I should have had it written down. Okay, let's see. So we are sitting right now on the 14th. That's week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. So I would like to find out from the both of you, the other one-on-one students may come or not. I don't know, it's up to them. On the 27th of September, would it be possible for you to book off 2 hours the morning? Because what we do is we meet back at the campus at 10 o'clock, from 10 till 12. We do a bit of a show and tell, a bit of a debrief on how has the 8 weeks been for you. Then Alexa comes in. She gives us a few more scenarios about the OTP and suspensive clauses. Alexa is one of the newly graduated lawyers in Bruno's office. And then Bruno comes through with the main topic and he has a conversation on that. So that day, you just come with your mind open and your heart ready to be overwhelmed with information. And that's what we do on week 8. So from you guys, I just want to know, is this 6 weeks enough time for you to say the 27th of September is good for us to have our 8-week face-to-face session?
Jen, I'll have to come back to you. I just need to check in terms of my availability.
Cool, no problem. And
Yeah.
Paul, will you do the same for me?
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I'll see if I can get a day off from work. If I could, then I will definitely be there.
Okay. If, guys, it becomes a bit of a schlep, there's always plan B, okay? So,
Mm-hmm.
so let's communicate as soon as possible so that we know when to create Plan B, because then Plan B may have somebody else come through to have a chat to us if it's not in the week at the campus for Bruno.
Okay.
Okay. So, Paul, was this helpful to explain the next 7 weeks what's happening?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Cool. So, guys, while you have been out and about, I have also been out and about. Some of the other students on the 90-day challenge, they call me and they say, Jen, I've got a property viewing, or Jen, I can't find a property. Can I come viewing with you? And let me just stop sharing this one so that I can at least set up the premise of what I'm going to be sharing right now. So then they asked me, Jen, is it okay if I come and view the property with you? And what I have done is already, to a number of the students, they've accompanied me with my personal viewings, because I still do the viewings for cash flow, you know, because we all have different reasons why we're still busy with property. If we've started now, we're not going to stop. If we've reached some goals, there's always a new goal on the plate, so to speak. So what I had done is, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not too sure whether I had shared this with you guys, but a couple of weeks ago on the Northcliffe group, I went on I Love Northcliffe, and I put my new famous statement that I am looking for a fix-me-upper. And in that saying that I'm looking for a fix-me-upper, I have received quite a few viewings. I'd gone through to Florida. Florida was my biggest disappointment, because it seemed that the owner listened to the agent and they really did up the house. So what was going to be a really, really nice one for me, it's not so much nice anymore for me. And so what I'd done is I'd gone ahead and looked at some of the other properties in Northcliffe, and you'll see from time to time on the Telegram coaching group, then I would actually say, June coaching, I'm going to view property, who's coming with me? Because in the previous group, between week 5 and 6, nobody found property. Why? One, there was a couple that had gone overseas that were on holiday. There was somebody else that had also done some out of town work. So we really just got to a point where I think I only ended up having one coaching session. And then I said to them, we can bank it. And during the 90-day challenge, then we can go and view properties together and so forth. So I hope that and trust that, during this one, we may go through and see properties during week 5 and 6, because I found it so valuable, especially with the May coaching group. Because with the May coaching group, everybody had gone ahead and found a property except one person, and I had a 2-hour session with them instead. But everyone that found a property had different measures in their understanding of what distress looked like. So the valuable lesson they learned within the 8 weeks already has propelled them now during the 90-day challenge to know what they're looking out for. So let me go back in to share the PowerPoint presentation with you. Can you see this particular property? Or, well, some of it. Guys, you can see my screen? Just maybe raise your hand or unmute. You can see? Cool. So I was able to go in and view, but I wasn't able to take too many pictures. So this is the outhouse, which is the staff quarters, where there's a room, a bathroom, and a shower. So if you can already see here on the top, it's that old-fashioned shower where you're literally showering almost on top of the toilet. Like there's no breathing space for that. Then I'd gone through with my builder, because I had gone through to see this property already the first time. and I started with the numbers that worked for me. Then here you can still see he's wanting to cover the geyser, because the geyser is in the toilet. So where he's standing is literally standing in front of the toilet, but there's nothing covering this particular geyser. Then I'd taken a picture of this bathroom as a reminder, because the tenant that is staying in this particular house said, this mixer here in the extreme, my extreme right, your extreme left, I would assume, there is not the water, warm water is not coming through here. But in that same bathroom, water's coming through to the basin. So I just taken this picture. It came out quite funny. This was between the bathroom and the counter. This was in the garage. The garage seemed to have been used for some sort of a storage space. So you'll see that's part of the shelf of the garage. This is the other cupboards in the garage. Look at these wonderful holes in the wall. And that was the door leading between the house and the garage. Now, when it comes to tenants staying there and the tenants are not too comfortable with you taking pictures of inside the house because of the stuff, I respect that. So this is why the pictures that I've taken predominantly is of the garage, the outhouse, and I sneaked in the bathroom pictures when they were not looking. So this is the state of what this particular place looks like. And it was quite an interesting journey going through there. Let's see, I'm going to open Lightstone. So let's see, resume share. Okay. So what do you think of those pictures that you just saw? Anyone with an opinion of the pictures they just saw? Silence. Is silence golden, guys? Hello. Let's see. Needs work. Definitely needs work. Awesome stuff. Cool. Thanks so much. I like this. We're using the chat. Cool. Guys, I absolutely agree. Okay, no problem. I understand network can be a thing. Cool. As long as we've got another alternative of talking, and then I know you guys are following and I'm not talking to myself, then it makes me happy. So as you can see, it does need work. The inside of the house is also very olden days. The inside of the house just needs a whole revamp. In fact, you're going to see the numbers that I'm going to run right now. I just want to go in to get the quote from Timber, because Timber gave me a horrific quote. And I remember saying to myself, oh my days, I need to have a look at that one. Let me see, there's Timber. The quote already for this particular house, inside and outside, it's got a huge pool. The pool requires 9,999 liters of water. So the square meterage of the property, I'll show you in a moment. I just want to go and pull the property report. So Lebo, I don't know if you've used, well, not Lebo, I don't know if you've used. Lebo, this is Lightstone, and I know that many of the estate agents use it. Paul, I'm trying to remember, did you say that you also use Lightstone?
No, I use SAPTG. There's another site called SAPTG.
Oh, okay. And it also does give you a view on everything that's happening in the neighborhood, right? Or on the property.
Yes.
Perfect stuff. So generally what we do then encourage, or rather what I encourage, Lightstone, if you go onto Lightstone, you type in www.lightstone.co.za, or you will just type in Lightstone in Google and it will bring you up to Lightstone. Okay, let me actually just log off and log on again so that you can see when I open my browser exactly what I open up to, instead of making assumptions that everybody has seen it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go and get the report so that we can do the numbers, and you'll see why the Lightstone report becomes important. So simply I went to Google, I typed in Lightstone property came up. I click on log in. When I click on log in, I want to go into my account, which is the property toolkit. There's also once-off reports that are here as well. I go and I click on log in, and obviously in the house, because we divide and conquer, we're not about to have.
Jenna, you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, is it? Oh, my days. Thank you, Lebo. Let's do this again. Why did it do that to me? Thank you. So let's see if I go. There we go. Do you see Google? Perfect, thank you. So as I was saying just now, Lightstone. I type in Lightstone. I click on log in. When I go to log in, because this is a subscription site, because all the information is sitting at the deeds office. So that information can't just be free to all and sundry, because there's a lot of personal information in there. So we've subscribed. We do this yearly because obviously we're here to stay. And there's also once-off reports. Some of my students have shared access. I know at one stage there was Karabo in Dallas, I think it is. They had decided to divide and conquer. They came up with an agreement and they had gone into the subscription together. There's other times, there's other students that I know that has leveraged off of some of the property, or rather the real estate agents. And so you get creative. For me, when I started, I just used to ask the real estate agents for the Lightstone report to show me what's happening, because a lot of the times they would say XYZ is happening in the neighborhood. They'll go through the Lightstone reports very, very quickly. And then I learned to ask them, can I keep it? And they would give it to me. So in the beginning, if you don't have to get the subscription, then also use that particular mechanism. So on Property Toolkit, I just go in with my details. Cool, and it brings me to this particular page. Here you'll find there's Residential Property Toolkit, Additional Reports, Market View, and Property Attributes. So why is it that we want to be in Lightstone? If I can take you back to the one-day training, Property 24 will give you what people are asking for their house. Whereas Lightstone will give you what has been registered at the deeds office. And you're going to see shortly how important it comes into play. Okay, so we're wanting to go and get a property report. In this property report, there's different ways of extracting the report. And for me, because I know the suburb is Northcliffe, I then say Northcliffe. The street name is De La Rey. Ah, why is it being naughty with me now? This is what Lightstone does sometimes. De La Rey. Okay, so maybe if I take out the area here, it's actually good when I stumble on some of these tools, and you can see the different ways De La Rey of troubleshooting. So De La Rey wouldn't be under monument. That's interesting. Let's just see this. It's not an avenue, it's a street. I wonder if it will come up now. Search. No, it's not going to come up. Cool. I'm going to try different ways of doing this. It's just I didn't get Tyrone's grand's name because when I posted that post on Northcliffe, Tyrone is the one that came back to me. Tyrone is the grandson that is selling the place, but his grand is 82 or something like that. Tyrone's mother apparently was not as responsible, or she's got issues, or whatever her challenge is, that mom and daughter don't really talk much. So this is why it has fallen on Tyrone. I'm just trying to understand why this is not coming up. I just want to double check here. Yeah, it says De La Rey Street. De La Rey Street. I wonder, would it then not be under Noupoort? It couldn't be under Noupoort. I'm going to try different things here, guys. So just a little bit of patience. So it's not Noupoort. If all else fails, De La Rey. Sharon? No. And this is a house. I don't know Granny's details or anything like that. So I suppose this is where it comes up as Schlepp, hey? Yeah, it's definitely that way. Couldn't be. That's momentum. That's a different area altogether. Cool. Well, that is failing miserably. It's not working on the street address, which is fine. I'll just go into, what is the other one? One Swazi. I've got another property that I viewed in Northcliffe. So let's see here. Northcliffe. It was number 1 Swazi. I have been a little bit busy. There we go. Please come up with something. The doctor's account. Woohoo! We have a winner! Okay. So I'm going to view this one. I'm so glad. So maybe let me share with you. No, I don't want a virtual tour right now. Okay. So I want to share with you guys the story behind this house. It's also in Northcliffe. This house, freestanding, as you can see, it was bought 2017 on the 19th of October. The land size that is registered is at 2569 square meters. Okay. Under roof, here it shows that it's not available. Okay. In here, you can see the last sales price was at 1.7 million. So to give you context of some of the aha moments I've just had, first, I was told that this guy is old. He's not old, he's my age. So that's very, very interesting. I'm not too sure why the estate agent said he was old. Okay. Then I was told that he bought the house for 1.9 million. Now I can see it's 1.7 million. It was at average, the estate agent said 18 months ago. And obviously in the next 2 months, it will be 2 years ago. So it's interesting to me, the information that has come to me and what I've just seen right now on the property report. And this is why we ask for the information of what is happening, and this is why it's also important for us to understand, more details that is coming off the property report. So as we scroll down, to give you a little bit more context about this, so I can start filling in the numbers, it is a corner property. So when I look at it, yes, it is the place that I've seen. It is this corner property here. As you can see, 2,600 and some change square meters. The pool, it was there. I was standing all around here. This bush is actually obscuring the pathway going up into the pool. This whole house, the structure is sharp. However, the inside of the house is so old-fashioned. So old-fashioned. Let me go back to Themba's quote. Themba's given me a quote on this particular place. It is 150,000 to refurb and bring it up to standard. The bathroom, the bathroom is pink. Again, unfortunately, there is a tenant that was quite fussy that didn't allow me to take pictures. So I had to be strong about this one. Okay, so at least I know I'm looking at the right house. And in fact, Delarey is just around the corner here, somewhere here. So I wonder, oh, that's just making the picture smaller. That wasn't very bright, Genevieve. Cool. So yeah, Delarey. Okay. Do you guys see how I was typing Delarey just now? And Delarey is typed differently here. Very nice thing I learned this evening. I must go type Delarey there just now. So this is Swazi, where you'll find the red X. Okay. All these different numbers that are here, when you scroll down, it's the reference to the street address. On here, it will give you the street address, what's the name of the area, the earth size, the sales date, when last it was sold, the price it was sold at, and the size. Here, it will also then give you the rand to square meterage, how many beds, how many baths, garage, and under roof. So if I have to look at Swazi, number 1, which is 10 Albert Avenue, which is close to Swazi, sold now this year in March, on the 18th of March, for 2.5 million. So if I have to already think about it, if on 1.7 million is what he bought it for, and he's selling it for 1.950, selling it for 1.950 with a refurb of 260,000. So that's already coming very, very close to market value. Okay, number 11 is the next closest place, because that's what we also look for. Number 30, Delarey, was bought in 2017 in September. Okay, and that was bought for 2.7 million. So we're already looking that in this space here, if we have to just look at those two on an average, it's gone for 2.6 million. So potentially our little house here, when it's brought up to market value, could be sitting at around 2.5 to 2.7 million. So these are the things then we can start deriving from just looking at this report. Then it will give you the municipality valuation, but what I've understood is that it's not always accurate. It will then also tell you that this particular place was bonded at 2.2 million. That is interesting. Okay. And the bond had registered on the 31st of January, the beginning of last year. Okay. So the purchase date was October. The registration date was the 31st of January 2018. Dylan bought it from Joseph Paul Cabian. Okay. What else can we see? We can then see the street transfer, meaning what has been happening in Swazi Street. So in Swazi Street, the only other house that was sold besides one Swazi was number 5 Swazi, and it was sold in 2016, and it was sold for 2.4 million. So guys, so far, I want to find out from you, do you think the Lightstone report is helpful? You can type in the chat box. You can unmute and share. What do you think of the Lightstone report so far?
From a novice point of view, I think it's very valuable because it gives you an idea of how much you can sell it for, so taking into consideration what the revamps are supposed to be, then you've got more or less an understanding of your markups and whatnot.
Awesome stuff. Cool. It gives you an indication. What do you think, Mpho?
Sorry, Genevieve. So how much is the property now selling for? Is it 1.950?
Yes.
And they bought it 2 years ago for 1.7.
Yes.
With no refurbishments. They bought it as is and they want to sell as is. You know what? Sometimes we just need to be honest with the sellers. I mean, we need to advise them. This is not going to work. Because now we need to revamp the property. Yes, properties around you are selling at market value or at whatever price they're selling at, but they do not look, or they are not in the same condition as this particular property. So I think it's just way overpriced. And you can even negotiate even lower if you can. 1.950 is too much.
Cool. So and that's what you can already see by looking at the Lightstone report, right? Because I'm just also thinking, if it only registered at the beginning of last year, it registered on a bond of 2.2 million, quite interestingly enough, but it was sold at 1.7 million. So my question is, this 500, what has he done with it?
You know, sometimes buyers borrow more from the bank, so they will negotiate with the seller and say, you know what, I need an extra little bit of cash. So instead of the 1.7, can I just add a couple of hundreds extra? And they discuss this with the transferring attorney. So if they're all in agreement, then it's more money for him. So now he wants to recoup his money for something that is way below what he's selling for.
100%. So let's see how our bird's eye view of getting the history, because apparently this guy is sick. I was told he's very old. Now when I look at his ID, he's my age. Like,
Why is he lying?
Say again?
Why is the agent lying?
I don't know. I'm really taken aback. For me, I saved this particular running of numbers for this evening because I always like to have a fresh deal that any of my students are going through. So when I heard this guy is sick, he needs to retire and settle down and in my mind, I envisioned this guy maybe 66, 70, you know what I mean? And I wondered, when he bought the property, why did he go into this property if he's so old? Because he's got awesome ideas of revamping. There's plans that have been authorized, and like, you know, if he could do this particular house up to the standard of what he wants, I can only imagine that the value of the house is going to escalate. What's nice about Northcliffe is that Northcliffe, you can get a house anything from 1 million to 20 million. And the area, you can never overcapitalize. But I always ask the question, what are my neighbors doing? I don't care about the whole area. What are the neighbors doing? And the way the plans are so in order, this guy had the intention of building up so that he rents out the house and he stays in the built up part. And so he would house hack, as I would say. So he'd multi-let, he'd be a tenant, he'd have tenants, and the tenants were obviously going to be supplementing his bond, which was a very, very clever idea. But I think for me, what really just struck me right now is the bond of 2.2 million, and it was bought for 1.7. And now he still wants to sell on close to market value without having done anything in the house. And if Timber said to me the refurb is 150,000, let's see what our numbers tell us. So I've already got a broad mind of what's going to happen in my deal calculator. So in my deal calculator, guys, can you see the Excel sheet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. New share, Excel sheet. Perfect. Can you see the Excel sheet now?
Yes.
Perfect. This is what I will send at the end of the call. I will save this one as One Swazi Street so that you've got a a comparable, and then I will send you the template. Or if you guys can tell me already if you can access the template that is already on the Telegram group. Cool. So just to give you a quick view on how to use this template, the input cells, as it says here, are only the green cells. So only with green do you insert information. Okay. What I had already done, I went, this is what they're asking for. That's the purchase price. So now we're going to be talking about our buying cost right now. In terms of loan to value, a lot of the time, the general rule of thumb, which this can be negotiated, by the way, the general rule of thumb and the safety net is always to say that the loan to value, the amount of money the bank is going to lend you, will be up to 80% of the purchase price. So that's a general rule of thumb. If you know you're going to be buying a property and you're going to be buying a property cash in your name, then you would just go on this column. If you know your investor is going to buy it cash, rather go into that column. But we add bond and cash so that you can have a bird's eye view of everything that's here. All right. Coolio. So now the purchase price is 1.950. Assumption of the loan to value will be 80%. So that means the bank will give you 1.560, and you would need to have a deposit of 390,000 in your pocket. Okay. Then on this, we're going to go into the Uber calculator. You will notice on the side of every line, I'm sharing with you where you're going to get this cost from. When I'd gone through the numbers the first time with the very first group, we literally labeled every line so that it could jog your memory when you are busy with the template as to where you'll get the information from. So I'm just wanting to, let me just save here before I forget to save. Template, One Swazi Street in Northcliffe. And I also advise you to do the same. Whenever you're working, save it off the template so that you're not working on the template in case anything gets messed up. So nonetheless, we now will go back to the internet. Let's see. New share, because I'm learning that this just goes funny sometimes. New share. We'll go back to the internet. We'll type in Uber. When we type in Uber, South Africa's leading home loans calculator, you will scroll. Is it scrolling down? I'm so used to typing calculators. Anyway, home loans. In home loans, you will find calculators. In calculators, you will then scroll down and you're going to be looking for transfer costs calculation. Oh, calculate. Okay, so the purchase price is 1950. Okay, your loan amount, if we go back to our calculator, the loan amount will tell us 1560. 1560, 123. Okay, because the loans, we're assuming the loan to value will be 80%. The nature of the status, it's a freehold. It's a house that stands on its own. This person is not registered for VAT because they bought it in their natural state. The status of the purchase, we will then just assume that we're buying it as a person and not as a company, and we will calculate. Okay. So when we look at the bond registration costs and the transfer costs, these two figures will give you this 122,484. So we'll go back to our calculator, 122,484. Oopsie. New share. We go back to the calculator. Cool. So now you'll find this is where we were with the calculators. It was 122,484. I want to give you guys a word of caution here. What I've understood from one of the attorneys at TLT Attorneys is that the Uber calculator is the closest, but you want to be conservative with between 3,000 and 5,000. So we can round this up to about 5,000 and we could then make it 127,000. So that we've got that buffer in place for just in case. The whole idea of the calculator is for us to get as close as possible with the figures, okay? Then what we must also remember is that the bond fees and the transfer fees is one thing, but with any property over 900,000, there's going to also be transfer duty. I just want to, yeah, the transfer duty is there. I just want to highlight it though. If you've seen the transfer costs right here, you will see transfer duty. So any amount, is it from 900 or 950 above, is taxed, and this is the tax that you will be paying for this particular loan amount of 1.560. I just want to highlight that because a lot of the times people only see transfer costs and bond registration because they generally don't go over the 900K mark. But just keep in mind, for over the 900K mark, you are going to find that there's transfer duty that is added in these particular costs. That is an FYI for you to keep in mind. All right? In that, if you recall from the training, people like myself, I will find a deal like this and I will sell it to an investor that has got no time but he's got money. Okay, and this is where the sourcing fee will come in. And to refresh your mind from the training, there's different schools of thought. There's some of the schools of thought is 10 to 15% of the purchase price. Others say 10% of the profit. And others say it's my time and my effort, and I've got my own way of calculating it. Okay? You will go on what is going to work for you. This is one of the places where it's a trial and error, and you will have to look at the holistic picture, how much time you spent in the deal, to actually see if it's something that is viable for you to charge crazy or not to charge crazy. For now, I'm going to leave it blank. Okay? The renovation costs, Temba said to me, 150,000. There is no outstanding levies, no outstanding rates and taxes. It's a standalone house, so levies doesn't apply. So I want to find out from you guys, are we still comfortable with the buying cost? Let's see, there's some chats coming through. Please add the adjustment to the notes. Which adjustment level?
The one for the 5,000 next to the Uber calculator.
Oh, okay, with you. So what I'm, kidoki. We okay with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Coolio. So we all good with the buying cost, guys? It's clear, straightforward.
Yeah, boo.
Sharp. Cool. So now, remember our lovely report. Let me go into it. Is the internet here? Share the report. Oh, of course it will kick me out, because I think that's my house that I was sitting in there now. So now, this is actually quite cool. I like the lessons that keep coming up here. So if you get kicked out, like the way I just got kicked out, you can go to My History. Instead of pulling the report again, you go to My History, and then you click on View. And boom, you've got the report coming up. So here, we scroll down a little bit down to municipal valuation. So the last municipal valuation was 2789. It's residential. The estimated monthly rates is 1707. Do you see where I get it there? Then I'll just go and put it into my calculator. In terms of water and electricity, I got a varying answer for this one. The one answer, one of the days was, there's 3 people that's staying here, so it's not much, because now the place is being rented. And then I got another answer another day that it was water and electricity is estimated between 500 and 600 rand. So I'm going to go on that one, because for the sake of the exercise that we were doing. Okay, so let me say new share, and let's go back to our calculator. the new share in the calculator, you'll see I've added the 1707. In terms of utilities here is your electricity, water, if it's not prepaid. Because this is not a sectional title, obviously we're not paying levies, right? In terms of insurance, I've got a rule of thumb that I apply that I've learned over time. I'll either ask the estate agent, what do you think is the insurance on this house? Or I will apply 250 Rand to every 500,000, because I'd seen over time that the insurance was usually would kind of match that. So if we are looking at 1.950, so that's 4 parts of 5, 1 million, 5, almost 2 million. So then I would then say 250, 500, 250, 1,000. So I'm going to say 1,000 here. All right. So you guys so far can see where I'm coming up with that number, right? This is the holding costs. And in the holding costs, it's just saying for the next 6 months or for the next 3 to 6 months, if I have to refurb and resell the place, am I going to keep everything in order? So you'll find here this last line item says the month is 6 months. So I just want to quickly explain these calculated fields here. This field, all it is saying is this green input field that says rates and taxes, this times 6 gives you 10,242. Here it says 600 times 6 gives you 3,600. And here it says 1,000 times 6 gives you 6,000. The holding cost period is generalized at 6 months because this is when the transfer takes place. So if I can refresh your memory, typically if you're going in for a flip or even a buy to hold, you would want to ask and negotiate, can I take occupation upon registration? And that's a conversation you and the person selling the house needs to have. Sorry, I'm just going to have some water quickly. The reason why you as an investor want to go in at this point, you want to use this time frame to get the house up to scratch so that you are not losing time. So say, for example, this 150,000, if Timber tells me, you know what, if there's nobody in the house, I can get that house done up in 2 weeks. You want to know on registration, then you've got 2 weeks to get the house up and going. Within that 2 weeks period, you then want to ask the estate agent to put the house back onto the market. So here, most of the time, the registration takes 2 to 3 months, 8 to 12 weeks, depending. So let's say, for example, it takes 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, it's now registered on your name. These 2 weeks, Timber's busy with the place. That's 10 weeks, meaning 2.5 months. 2.5 months, you're holding costs, because once the place is registered on your name, you are now liable for the costs, right? Now you want to know, after these 2 months, this first 2 weeks while Timber's busy, your holding costs will kick in. You will then put the place up on the market. Say, for example, it takes 2 weeks to sell. At the end of that first month, the first month of holding costs is going to kick in. And so it will play out until the house is then registered off of your name, etc. So the holding cost is there to make sure that you are not taking money out of your pocket while the house is being registered and while the house is being resold. While the house is being renovated and while the house is being resold. So now to the next field. This is a calculated field, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you had a investor, an angel investor that was giving you money, this is where you would put the investor information and work out what return on investment will you be paying that particular investor. In terms of money in the deal, all it's saying is how much money is coming out of your pocket so far. The money coming out of your pocket so far is 777. And if this is a cash deal, the money coming out of your pocket so far is 21. All right. So if you're going to be reselling this particular place, this is an open mandate on the home that on this number 1 Swazi Street. And if I have to look at all the boards, and I did, there were 4 or 5 boards, and those guys average between 5 and 7.5%. So I'm just going to say 6% if I have to do a flip on this place. Okay, if I had to ask an agent to sell it. Okay, but now we're not asking the we haven't decided yet whether you're selling it on your own or you're having the agent sell it. If the agent is selling it, obviously there's no marketing costs involved. Now, to come to our sales price, our selling cost, we need to then understand the next component. Our selling cost, we go down here to the second tab, and then we ask, what's happening on private property and what's happening on Lightstone? And this is what I mean. When we go to Lightstone, we want to ask, in close proximity, number 1, number 8, and potentially number 2, 8, or 9. What has the houses sold for? So number 1 was 2.5 million. Number 11 is 2.7 million. So let's go back into the sheet and add that information. Okay, and then new share. And then we want to see, oh, come on. Cool, it is sharing. Okay. And then we want to see, maybe let's go and see 2, 8, and 9. Number 2 has sold for 2.1 million. Number 8 has sold for 2.5 million. Number 9 has sold for 1.6 million. So these are, yeah, I think I will stay on this side of this track. And let's see what's number 8. Number 8 is also 2.5. So I'm gone back into the calculator now and then added 2.5. See me and this. Okay, what we're doing and what we're wanting to achieve is to see the average price. And why we take the average price from the deeds office and from what people are asking for is so that we've got a clear view on when we're selling, what will it look like. So Northcliffe, we're going to select Northcliffe Randburg, go into property type. If you can recall from our navigation session the last time, the first 3 property types is what you type in, okay? No other filters. You click on search. When you click on search, you scroll down to your first indicator. You want to say from low to high, okay? Now, what we're looking for here, the property that we are selling or what we want to buy, not selling, the property that we want to buy is a 3-bed, 2-bath. Does it give that detail here again? No, it's not showing us that detail. But anyway, I'd viewed it, so I know it's 3-bed, 2-bath. Cool. I thought it would have shown me the detail that I'm looking, the detail, so that I don't just give you an assumption. But anyway, it was a 3-bed, 2-bath. So what we're wanting to do is we want to go into here to find out what our 3-bed, 2-bath looks like, or alternatively, the size is 2569. So sometimes they even show you on the size. So I want to go to skip. Okay, here it's 3-bed, there's 4-bed, 2-bed, 5-bed. You see how tricky it becomes, eh? This is a 5-bed, this is a 2-bed. And yet, this one has got 2 beds, 2 baths, double garage. This one's got 5-bed, 3 baths, double garage. And they're going for the same price. It's also reduced price, which is now making me very nervous. Okay. What I'm going to try and look out for here is my square meterage. I look at that square meterage. That doesn't even give me a lot of comfort, eh? That does not give me comfort at all. It would be interesting to see how they have advertised it. Guys, you're still there? Everything okay?
Yep.
Cool. This is the advert. Oh, wonderful. This is the trees. So you can see it's 3-bed for sale in Northcliffe. Let's see if the pictures look anything like it should. The house is fairly empty, hey? All of these, you know that cast iron type of cupboards? These are not wooden at all. These are those olden day cupboards that make a noise if you hit them. This is a very pretty picture. In real life, it looks very different. Yeah. Cameras do wonders. Wow. This is a very pink bathroom. I reckon the photography they've outdone themselves with the photography. So this is the plans. Remember I said he's got approved plans. This is the approved plans on top of the garage to create this. And then it's got all the plans that are approved. All of this stuff the agent went through with us. So here it's advertised for 3-bed, 2-bath, as you've seen, as I've told you. So now let's see if we can find 3-bed, 2-bath. It's very, very pretty in real life. I'm sure you when you see it, you're going to say, what, is that the same place? Am I crazy? So let's go back up to page 5, because it was around page 5. Do you see how much of a long process the numbers can be, guys? So what I'd like you all to learn for future is, by all means, when it comes to practicing, practice, practice, practice so that you can go through the process much quicker. Okay, so this 3-bedroom here is at 2,095. I want to go closest to his stuff. Yeah. It all ranges 2.2, 2.3, 2.35, 2.35, 2.35. Okay, so we're going to then, let me just share the Excel sheet again. Go back here, 2.3. Okay, so now we're looking at an average between property 24, what the market is asking, and then we're looking at the average of all those houses that sold close by to this house. And when we look at this average, it averages around 2.3 million. So our assumption could then be, when the place is done up, it's now, if it's going for 1,950, it's done up for 150. That means it's already at 2.2. So it's already brought up to market value if we have to buy it at 1.950. So that already throws that mathematics right out. So here we'll say the average sales price. This is where we're getting our sales price from. We put it here. As an investor, you want to go in and drop some part of the price. So you could say 2.350, or you could say 2.320, whatever the case is. If a lot of the times the investors will then say at average drop by 10K to 15K. Why do we want to drop the sales price when we're selling as an investor? We want to go in quick and we want to go out quick. So if somebody sees a newly renovated property and all of a sudden everywhere else is going for 2.380 and they are going now for 2.365. 2.365 is what we'll take. So maybe let's put that price there, 2.365. Okay. So now when we look at the grand scheme of life, we just need to do the rental part as well before I forget. When we look back here, the rental price in Northcliffe, search for a 3-bedroom, let us see. Guys, we are coming to an end soon. I know the numbers is usually the longest process under the sun. However, it is really the cornerstone of us knowing our numbers so that we can buy logically with numbers and not our heart. So the wrap will just come shortly. I just need to, so at average, a 3-bedroom is 12,500. I want to then just go and populate 12,500 here. And then I want to go back to the rental, 12,500, 13,000. Okay. Now let's go back to our Excel sheet. So we're saying 12,900, 13. Okay. So at any given point, the people that are in this house at average could be then paying 12,800. Okay. Now the picture comes together. Let's then quickly quantify this. What we've done is we've gone in to check our buying costs, how much this is going to cost me, the holding costs while I'm doing my renovation. If I go in and I sell at 2.365 because I've just bought at 1.950, I've lost 114,000. So which means I'm dead in the water. If I then scroll down and say my exit strategy, because if you remember, we always need to have two strategies. Your strategy of what you're going in for, is it a flip or is it going to be a rental, whatever it is. So going in, if we looked at this as a flip, there's no money in the flip. If we looked at it as a buy to hold, when we look at the buy to hold expenses, meaning on a month-to-month basis, our utilities, our rates and taxes, our insurance, and all the different costs involved, our rent will not cover our bond, neither will it cover all of these expenses, which then means equally we're losing out in rental. So just something quickly to note, when you are doing the rental, remember all of these are calculated fields. They're taking the numbers from the holding costs. So just in case you want to know, how did this happen here? Okay. I want to talk about these three fees in a short moment, but I first want to hear your feedback. What do you think of the process? Especially with seeing it from the naked eye and now seeing it in the numbers. What do you think of the process? Anybody can unmute and share.
On my side, it still looks a bit daunting, but I think it will, with practice, then I'll be a bit comfortable.
Yeah. So something that I would love to highlight at this point, thank you so much for sharing that, Lebo. It takes a while for you to wrap your head around the numbers. And for me, it took, I think, 3 to 4 months. I was still feeling like, what's going on? So when you're feeling that way and you're running numbers and you just can't seem to get breakthrough, call me, okay? I need you to remember that. Do we have an agreement there?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. We all learn how to take proper pics. True. Also, the yard size difference. Perfect. Yeah. The taking pictures process, is quite something, especially if somebody says no, and then you want to sneak in pictures from time to time, or you give them a story for taking pictures, or your phone plays up on you. So yeah, we all learn how to take proper pics. So I think in property, if you're good at taking selfies, you're definitely going to be good at taking the pictures. I'm just kidding. Paul, having known what you said in the beginning and now going through this numbers process, what do you think of it?
No.
You on mute again?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Sure. Thank God. Okay. I wanted to say these numbers look very good if you want to invest your money, because I think and I believe a lot of the times people go in without actually doing the numbers. You know, they go in blind thinking, here I'll just spend whatever amount of money and then I'll fix this up and then I can sell it quickly, you know, only to realize that there is more work to be done than the naked eye can see. So this is really helpful. Will you send us this spreadsheet, Genevieve?
100% I will.
Cool. Yeah,
For me,
that's what I think. It really helps to
awesome.
do the numbers. It makes sense.
It makes it, and this is why I like to do the numbers on a deal that is happening. Like now, I can already tomorrow call Werner and say thanks, but no thanks. And I'll tell you why. I'm jumping 2 steps ahead for that one. So, guys, thank you for your feedback on that one. Matembi, I don't know if you would like to share anything. I know that you came in halfway through the numbers.
No, for me, I'm good. I think now I know some things about the numbers. The only thing it's the comparison. So I was
Okay, looks like we've lost Matembi there. Now, I want to highlight something, guys. In terms of coming up with the sales price, there are different methods. There's the TPN report. We're not going to touch the TPN report this evening. I'm actually working on creating a bonus video to go through Lightstone and the TPN report so that you can see it side by side. Lightstone, when you go onto Lightstone, they often have free training about Lightstone. I want to encourage that you take that initiative, find when the next training is happening to really understand the fullness of Lightstone. Tonight, we're just going through the necessities of what we need from Lightstone, okay? Now, on the TPN report is literally, it's the Tenant Profile Network, TPN. It will also give you information like the Lightstone report will just give you, okay? And it will give you an estimated value on what they think is good. Then they will give you in a low market and a high market, okay? So sometimes the investors go onto TPN and they go and they take that estimated value to sell. For me, over time, I've gotten the comfort of one of the teachings that I had. Listen to what the market says, but take notice of what the deeds office is registering. And this also gives you a view what people are selling for and what people are buying for. Okay, so the question is, the market is clearly a bit erratic because it looks like the market is not asking for much, and yet there's a whole lot of different houses that are reduced. So when we see reduced from a naked eye, we think, yay, we're winning, but it doesn't always happen that way. So there's two more things I want to talk about on this particular calculator before we call it a wrap. Now, when we are doing our rental, which is where you saw the rental value of 12,800, we came up with that average. Currently, the tenants that are in that house, those tenants are paying 12,500. Okay, that's what the agent told me. The things to notice for your rental, there's something called management fee. When you have a managing agent taking care of your property, there is a management fee that you have to pay them. I remember many years ago, I had just letting look after my property, and the management fee that I paid was 9%. So I usually say at average, take it between 8 to 10%. If you're more comfortable with 10%, you can change it. If you're more comfortable with 9%, you can change it. All this is doing is helping you to project as closest as possible of how much money you're going to be investing and how much money you are going to be making. Okay. Now, there's something called void. Void means at some given point, possibly you may have no one staying in the property. And if there's nobody staying in the property, on a monthly basis, you want to pick up a 5% or a 10% or, well, not 10%. 10% is a little bit too high, I think. You want to pick up a 5% or a 7%, meaning if you pick up 5% off of this, when you include your rental, because we're going to adjust the figures now to actually see what makes sense. This 640 in the next 10 months will be 6,400. If the place is vacant in month 11, at least you've got half of your rent money paid in advance. That's what the void is for. And then maintenance. Maintenance is you want to have 10% of money, because this is a huge property. Anything again from 8 to 10%. Different investors see things differently. The best rule of thumb is 8 to 10%. If you want to make sure that if there is the pool doesn't work all of a sudden, this 1,280 over 10 months, you're then looking at 12,800. Can it fix the pool? Yes. Where has the money come from? The rental from the tenants. So if I had to say, when I look at this particular calculation, what would I have to do, or until where do I have to negotiate for these numbers to make sense in my world? You then start playing, would you have to charge 15,000 for rent? No, you'd have to charge more. Would you have to charge 20,000 for rent? We're getting closer. So as we're playing with the rent, we then start seeing the numbers here at the bottom change. So I want to put that back at 5% and that one at 9%. Now I want to first go up here. If I want to negotiate and make sure that I flip, maybe because he's bought it at 1.7 thousand, I might want to then go into, I might want to go back to my calculators. And I might want to say, guys, do we all understand amortization? Do we understand amortization, guys?
Just explain high level. I think I do have an idea, but.
Okay, so this is the percentage of the payment that you make that goes towards paying off your bond. So which then means if I got the bond of 1.5 million, 1.560, my bond, the number of months is generally 240 months. Our interest rate, we'll just keep it at a fixed interest rate at 10%, and we don't touch anything else. If I say calculate, that guy, his bond registered in January, right? And actually we know that his loan amount is 2.2 million. Recalculate. So between January and to date, that is 16 months. Am I right in the months? So 12, January to January, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August. 12 and 7 is 19. We're in month 19. It then means he would have paid towards his bond, and he would be owing approximately 2.1 million still. So I always say it's always interesting for me to go and check on the amortization. I want to then say, what if he really took out the bond of 1.7 million? Okay. If he really took out the bond of 1.7 million and not 2.2 million, on month 19, he would have been sitting at an average of about 1.6. that he's paid back off of his loan. And that's what I use personally as a figure to go and play with. Could I then negotiate this amount here to 1.650? Would it be a good flip if I can get him to settle on 1.650? Now we know it's not, because 2.2 million, it was his bond. If I go and see what my flip amount is, yes, if I got him down to 1.650, I've got a 28.4% return on investment. If I took him down to 1.7, what he's paid for the bond initially, I've got a 20% return on investment. Do you see how we can play with those numbers? So to establish the sales price, you may go into TPN like I've told you, or you could go into the second tab and establish the sales price from there. That's one. To establish your return on investment, now start playing around with the purchase price. How could you negotiate? I could go in and say, you know what, I saw he's paid 1.7 for this property. In and around the area, the properties are not really selling, and I don't think I'm comfortable with paying 1.950, and I would have to find whatever my angle is to negotiate. I know this guy apparently is sick. He hasn't shared what sickness he has, and the estate agent said it's obvious, but I don't want to make an assumption. In my mind, the first thing that came to mind was possibly he could have cancer. I don't know. But whatever it is, what if we were talking to the owner and the owner hadn't taken out an original 2.2 million bond? What if? So we've got all these different what if scenarios to see what we can go for this particular purchase price. If we then look and we say, because we're novice, we early days in terms of investing, maybe I don't want a 20% return on investment. Maybe if I want to be kind, I could then say to them 1.8 million to get closest to his 1.950. But that takes us down to a 5.8%. So you see, the more we play with the purchase price, the more we start seeing the variation in the return on investment. That would be one. If we then decide, if we are going for a return on investment of 20% on a flip, what would we have to do to make a rental work? We may then have to say 21, 1, 2, 3. How would I then go in for a 1% return on investment? Do you want to? No, not really. So this is how we start quantifying, will a flip work? But if a flip doesn't work and it doesn't sell, what is my exit strategy? If my exit strategy is to multi-let, could I then say, in the 3 bedrooms, I want each of my people to be paying 7,000 Rand, 714.21, to get us to the 21,000, so that at least I've got all my costs covered, and then I'm not found in want. And this is how we start establishing the return on investment that you want from your property opportunity. Any comments from you guys?
I see it, I hear it, overwhelmed.
I would be surprised if you're not overwhelmed. I hear that. My encouragement to you is when you're sitting down to do numbers, to really understand numbers, look at the video again.
Yeah.
Play it in concurrently to the video, or try it on your own. And then when you're stuck, listen to the video and see where the video can help give you direction. Because this process, we've been talking, at least I've been talking for the last 1.5 hours. Had I been doing this on my own, my speed I've gotten right now to do all of what we've just done is between 20 and 30 minutes. I've been doing it for 3 years though, almost 3 years this year. So if you want to get to a point where you're going to be putting a proposal together, you're going to be running the numbers and, that administration takes anything between 1 and 1.5 hours so that you can get your ducks in a row, you get your storyline in order, and so forth and so on. Cool. So, lady and gent, that is running numbers. The power behind any sort of coaching in property is that once you start learning and practicing how to run your numbers, even some deals that look so lucrative, you just have to eventually walk away from them. So I would like to find out any departing words, any possible questions.
For me, from face value of that house, it looked like an investment, you know, you'll make money. So I can see how people will fall in a trap, depending on what your strategy is, though.
Absolutely. Mpho, any departing words, perhaps? Any questions? Okay. Cool. Matembi had to excuse herself. I see a message came through. So, okay, guys, this is about running numbers. We've gone through the different reports in that. Like I said, I'm trying to work on a video where I can do TPN and Lightstone side by side. I know Lightstone fairly well. I'm learning more about TPN as we go along the way. When we go through to networking events like SAPN, there's often a TPN expert that is there. In fact, there's a lawyer, there's attorneys that are experts. There's, you guys have met Mauricia that is there. She's an expert in this. So in terms of viewing property, the cracks and the damp and things like that. So having everybody around you in your power team, this is going to help you take the pressure off. But the next best pressure is finding the opportunity, running the numbers, and trying to figure out the way forward. Okay. So can you please, while I have you on the line, go into Telegram. When you go into Telegram, I wonder if you can see. Right on the top where it's got the name of the group, when you tap that name, it takes you through, it doesn't show so well, eh? It takes you through to photos and videos, files and links. When you go to files, you should be able to see deal calculator. Tell me if you can see it.
I'll have to look later. I don't know where my phone is.
Oh, okay, cool. Have a look so that I don't send the template over and over and over. But what I will do, this template that we've gone through that I've called One Swazi, I will send it because it's something that we have worked on. Alrighty. So guys, if we don't have any questions, I want to say thank you again for making time for the coaching. I structured the 4 skills 1 week after the other so that we can commit to bedding down the skill of finding a property, running the numbers, looking out for pointers of negotiating, and eventually looking at an OTP so that we can use the bulk of the coaching for other experiences as well. Next week, we will be talking about the power of networking and the power of negotiation, the different resources that we can use, the different resources that are available to us. And I would like you to also bring your feedback on how you've experienced networking. What do you think happens at networking events? And I would like to also then introduce you guys to the SA Property Investor Network, which is a platform that I generally go meet people, like-minded people, to sell my opportunities. Fortunately, in the last 24 hours, there's been a good development in my household. M5 Property Addicts co-directors have asked me if there's any of my students that can come up with really good deals. They are willing to buy deals from my students. So not only am I bringing you through to the network, but I'm also bringing you closer to investors with money. So I trust that you have a good week. I trust that when you get an opportunity that you will listen to the video again and play around on the Excel sheet. Even if you don't have a deal, find something online and see if you can go through the motion of what we did. Make assumptions for some fields just so that you can get that momentum going. All right. So guys, if there's no questions, if there's no other feedback, I want to say have a good evening. This is going to be, of all the evenings together, this is the longest evening all the time. So next week, we will keep to an hour. You'll see that it happened quite easily. Even the OTP week, we'll keep to an hour, 10 minutes. But running the numbers is always much, much longer. Cool. So give me a thumbs up if we can end the meeting, or raise your hand or drop a comment.
Night, night.
Cool. Night, night, Lebo. Take good care.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, ciao.
Yeah.
Paul, you good? Okay, and Paul, I'm not too sure if you can still hear me, but I'm going to end the meeting and I'll send you guys the artifacts as soon as I can. Take good care.